Hi to everyone who watches this video. Now, in the last couple of weeks, as we've been putting together a program called Innovators Entrepreneurs Human Design, it's made me step back because our focus has been on what are the benefits of human design rather than let's just do a whole program on the features. Because there's no problem getting people to pay attention to what human design offers when they experience tangible, real benefits. It's difficult when you're trying to sell them the features or the writings or the teachings or whatever, but you give them, and I've had, 9 years to explore the benefits of human design. And trust me, 35 years before that, working on developing my potential as a human being, primary focus of my life in many, many different forms and ways, including, many that have been extremely useful. But I've never had the tangible benefits that I've had literally manifest, literally happen over the last 9 years. I mean, it's extraordinary of how all the things I'd aspired to, meditated on, dreamed of, wished for, worked on, have actually happened in such tangible, down-to-earth ways for me, particularly in the last 7 or 8 years. It's, just one really simple example. Up until just over 2 years ago, I was just living on my own and very used to it. I'm very comfortable in it in my own way. And now 2 years later, I have a family with 2 kids and another child who's older, and grandparents and relatives. It's probably extended family of something like 9 to 16, somewhere in that gap, 9 to 16 people. And I'm responsible, especially financially, for them. And I've never been happier in my whole life, And it's like, isn't that a challenge? Hell yeah. But I never realised how much fun it can be when it's correct for me to do it, when the energy and the timing's right. And the benefit to me as a person has been phenomenal. That so much responsibility could be so much fun. Here's somebody who's pursued freedom all his life, in various different ways, and now is discovering the joy of being free to take on responsibility and to, do it willingly, joyful, because everything inside of me is saying yes. And that has literally come. It would not have come if I had not been living what I've understood about my design, my human design. Literally, wherever I would be, in fact, I knew where I was planning to be. I'm on the other side of the planet from there. So I know the benefits, and I know how, and there are many other benefits I've received, including my health, including business, including learning how to work with people who are really different than me, whether they're in my culture or other cultures. At 68, just inspired to leave a legacy and to really work rather than crawl off and retire. It's like, okay, now I'm warmed up, let's get going. The benefits are so great, but what is this thing? All of that has made me step back and question, because I've in the back of my head, and I see this with a lot of other people, human design is like a movement or an evolution or, the next great thing or whatever. And in order to really get the benefits out there, to some extent, I've had to demystify the features, and put them in perspective. So I looked back and I saw, okay, there was Neanderthals, they were humanoid. And then along came Cro-Magnon, or what we call Homo sapiens sapiens, human beings as we knew them. And they obviously operate at a different level. So in modern day language, they've got a different operating system. And that went really well for a long time, although we made a huge amount of progress in terms of mental development. And, it was definitely a step forward beyond Neanderthals. It was definitely a step up. However, there was a lot of downside to it, a lot of, conflict, warfare, starvation, difficulties, you name it. It's all well known. And then about 250 years ago, human beings shifted. And we went to a new operating system. It's like you took your old cell phone and traded it in for the latest, greatest cell phone. But it's got a completely different operating system. It's not only slightly differently designed with a more powerful camera, and you can do this, and you can pull out a pen and write on it, and you can do that. But it's got a whole new operating system. Now, the benefit of that is you can do more. The difficult part is you've got to make the transition from the old operating system to the new operating system. You've got to go through that stressful period when you're figuring out how the hell this thing works. And since the last old operating system people died out, so let's go back 170 years, since 250 years ago, since then, it's been a real challenge. And it's amplified a lot of the problems and also highlighted a lot of the problems in a world that's becoming a global world. At least definitely connected up globally. And that led to a point where we've got this brand new operating system. We're still trying to use the old programs in the new system, and it's creating a lot of stress. Let's just keep it simple, all around, for human beings as individuals, for relationships, for cultures, for business, and a lot of good things have come out of that. But there's, gosh, if everything has to go through so much drama to get a leap forward, what's going on, particularly when we've got this incredible new operating system that most of us aren't aware of, and we don't know how it operates. So whatever the powers that be, wherever this all comes from, 30 years ago, someone downloaded through a particular person a whole manual, a whole insight over quite a period of time, 8 days and then a few years to digest what happened. And this person wrote the manual on this new operating system. Well, he wrote a manual on this operating system, and that's a huge breakthrough. That's what human design is. It's an operating manual on our current design, on our current operating system. It's a manual on our current operating system. And that is really useful. Now, a couple of other people people sort of got in touch with Ra and then ran off and did their own versions of the manual. You know, there are a couple of other takes on it from different points of view. And I'm not here to argue which one's right, wrong, or good or bad or anything else like that. But what really put it in perspective for me was realizing that, my God, this is a manual. And that's really useful to a certain point, because at least it gives you an insight to what the hell you've got and what you're dealing with. And it gives you clues on how to put it together and how to get the operating system working. So you can really benefit from it. And of course, there's a bunch of people who go in and go, oh my God, I love operating manuals. You know, I love manuals. You know, let me get into it. You know, let me be a techie or a nerd or just and study. And, you know, the person who downloaded this and then wrote it out used his own perspectives, his own knowledge, and he did an incredible job, you know, coming from his own unique perspective. And he certainly got it on the map. He certainly got the message out there that there is something that describes what we're dealing with practically in terms of our design and our system, you know, how we operate in the world and what this new operating system is, what its components are, all its features. What I've realized is that if you keep focusing on the manual and teaching and studying and refining the manual, well, that's useful to a small group of people who like that sort of thing. And a bunch of people get something out of it as a side effect. And you can begin to get pretty good with the operating system as an individual. But the thing that's going to catalyze the whole thing, take it so that many people benefit from it, and the ripple effects from those people flow out and affect people who may never ever read the manual or never even, you know, study it or take it on board or whatever. However, the benefits of the people who do work with it a bit and then put it into practice, the benefits that they experience over time will ripple out because they're obvious benefits. You know, Darryl, my business partner, often says there's a difference between telling and selling. You know, and it's right. I just, wow, yeah, it's true. And he explains it beautifully that, you know, you can tell people about it, but if you come from your own experience and you obviously have, you know, benefited from it, then it's far easier. And, you know, you're not only just excited about it in a way of getting other people excited, but your excitement comes from real life, tangible benefits and experience that even if you didn't rev people up, people would start going, why are you so different? You know, or what's really going on in your life? It seems terrific. You know, you seem to be very happy. Then that's how you sell. That's how you promote. That's how you get something out there. That's how people get interested in it, because there's something in it for them. And so the first thing I want to do with this is just make it really clear. Human design is a manual at the moment. That's what it is. And it's a brilliant manual written by an inspired individual and worked on by many other inspired people who found great benefit from it, you know, in their own lives, or interest in it, at least. And there are other versions of it around, maybe not as popular, maybe because they're not as effective, or they appeal to a small interest group. But what is real is the body you have now, the operating system you have in this world is it doesn't matter who you are, where you are in the world, whether you're super evolved or just very ordinary or an absolute, you know, pain in the ass to people, you know, it's just like the operating system you have already built into you. That's the big deal. And anything that can help you come to terms with that, recognize that, acknowledge it, and enjoy it, the benefits of that, is very useful. But it's not the experience. It's the experience of the benefits. It's the experience of your operating system operating to its, maybe not full capacity, but bringing out, you know, your cell phone, those features, those new features that you don't have on any other cell phone. It's like, and working with that and going, wow, this is so useful in my business, so useful for my entertainment, so much fun when I talk to my friends. So cool the way I can photograph this way, do movies that way, whatever, whatever. When you get into that and you receive something that you experience as a benefit and a real improvement in the human design arena, really understanding that the power lies within you practically and that you are a unique individual. You know, really coming to terms with that and understanding how you operate so you can access the fact that there is a personal authority in you. You know, you can make the decisions in your life. And when you do that in an empowered way, understanding how you operate from your own authority, you really enjoy life as an individual. And experiencing that, I mean, I have experienced that. Am I perfect? Am I on top of it? No way. But just the 7 years of that I've experienced, particularly the last couple, I mean, there's no turning back. This is the way to live. You know, not because I believe it, it's just the experience is so, I'm trying to pick the right, it's, you know, magical, wonderful, practical, fulfilling. You know, they're just, because the experience is the experience of enjoying a human life, enjoying my human life with all its challenges and dealing with hurts and wounds and, you know, unresolved gifts and talents and that, but dealing with that in such an effective way, such a practical way where you get the energy and the timing right so these things resolve elegantly, beautifully. And you begin to realize the wonder of the gift of who you are. And then to take it one step further, to be enjoying your life and to then share it with others so that you can do much more, you can achieve, you can experience much more with far less effort, you know, forming teams. I mean, they're the basics. And that's what the manual of human design points at. But the reality of human design is those experiences and all the other benefits I listed in another video I did. So human design is a manual, and that's not a put down of human design, because we had very little. All we had was the old manuals from past times and a few updated versions of basically the same thing. And then along comes human design and says, okay, I'll give you some clues. This is how to drive the car. This is how to work the computer. Now, go to it. Discover the benefits, and once you've got those benefits, you'll you won't want to put it down. You won't want to go back to your old car, your old cell phone. As they say, you'll be sold on it. Okay, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you get to enjoy your design, because that's what the manual's talking about. You and how to enjoy yourself while you're in a physical body, to get the best out of it with the brand new operating system that we now have as human beings, which we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what is going to open up for us in the future. So I'll talk to you during that future.